The instant Serena saw the 2 pink lines, joy flooded her so completely she couldn't find words. She ran her palm over her still flat belly, picturing the tiny life growing inside, and her eyes shimmered with the soft light of brand new motherhood. But the bright moment didn't last. Dolores's reaction hit like a bucket of ice water, snuffing the fluttering flame in Serena's chest. Dolores clung to the old ways, convinced only a boy could carry the Vance name forward. When Serena told her the baby was a girl, Dolores's face darkened as if a storm cloud had slid across the sun. She stared at Serena, voice cold and absolute. End it. The Vance line has no use for a girl. Serena froze. A sour mix of rage and grief rose in her throat. How could she give up her child? This baby was part of her own blood and future. She tried reason, insisting health and happiness mattered more than chromosome rolls of the dice. Dolores wouldn't budge, certain Serena was trampling tradition and her authority with one defiant heartbeat. The older woman's iron will left Serena hollow, exhausted, and aching with dread. She spent sleepless nights trying to imagine a road that kept her daughter safe and Dolores quiet. Then a rumor about underground gender selection circles drifted across her feed. She hated the idea, hated herself for even storing the knowledge. Yet the need to protect Lily outweighed every scruple. Her days became a scavenger hunt. Doctors' after-hours whispers, back-alley contacts, late-night browser histories she deleted before dawn. All the while she kept talking to Dolores, sending photos of healthy newborn girls, forwarding Instagram posts from Olympic medalists, trying to chip away at decades of granite prejudice. Nothing moved. Dolores's glare only hardened. The longer Serena fought, the clearer the bigger picture became. She began reading about wage gaps, honor killings, campus assault statistics, and the millions of missing girls in population ledgers. She realized keeping Lily wasn't just personal. It was a vote for every woman told her value ended at an X chromosome. So Serena staked her flag. She would carry Lily to term, raise her in sunlight, and let the world deal with the fallout. She didn't know how the next chapters would read, but she knew surrender wasn't a sentence she would ever write. From that day on, the air inside Vance felt thinner, charged with static. Dolores found fault in every shirt Serena left on the banister, every cup placed left of center on the coffee table. She kept circling back to the same wound. The granddaughter Serena refused to erase. One evening Serena was cubing sweet potatoes for soup when Dolores stepped into the kitchen, arms folded like a gate. "You really think you can rewrite centuries?" she sneered. "This is Vance territory. Your vote doesn't count here." Serena set the knife down, breathing through her mouth to keep the quiver out of her voice. "Mom, I hear you, but the child didn't ask to be born. She shouldn't pay for a fight she hasn't even entered." "Innocent?" Dolores barked a laugh. "A female is just future disappointment, and if you're scheming behind my back, you'll regret it." Serena's pulse banged in her ears, but she kept her face blank. "I'm not hiding anything, Mom. I just want you to see her as a gift instead of a problem." Dolores jabbed a finger inches from Serena's cheek. "Keep dreaming. I'm watching every breath you take." The older woman spun away, heels snapping against tile. Serena leaned against the fridge, palms sweating, and forced herself to inhale to a slow count of 8. There would be no truce. The battle was officially declared. Dolores tightened the perimeter. She timed Serena's grocery runs, quizzed neighbors about which aisles she lingered in, and left printouts of Bible verses about sons of destiny on Serena's pillowcase. The house felt smaller each sunrise, but Serena refused to fold. She joined the Moms to Be WhatsApp group, texting at 2 a.m. with women who knew the ache of pink ribbon nurseries labeled a mistakes. Their virtual hugs mattered more than any ultrasound photo. Then the gossip started. Dolores whispered at church bake sales that Serena's baby might not even be a Vance. That shame had booked a 9-month lease in her womb. Serena read the sideways glares in the supermarket checkout line and tasted metal in her mouth. Still, she kept her head high. Lily was listening to every heartbeat. At the apex of the shouting and slammed doors, an old classmate turned obstetrician sent Serena a private message. He could arrange a public seminar on fetal development, invite local journalists, and let science speak louder than superstition. Hope crackled through her fatigue like the first sip of coffee after a double shift. The road ahead would be brutal. Dolores would weaponize every scripture, every wrinkle of ancestral pride. But Serena buttoned her coat, looked at her reflection, and promised the woman in the glass, one way or another, Lily would enter the world with a mother who refused to bow. She stepped into the hallway, purse over her shoulder, shoes clicking like a metronome counting courage. The war for her daughter's first breath had officially begun, and Serena planned to win it, sentence by sentence, heartbeat by heartbeat. Yet Dolores refused to let Serena go. She began circulating rumors inside the Vance clan, claiming Serena was headstrong and dead set on keeping the girl. The gossip swept through every branch of the family, turning Serena into the favorite topic of every aunt and cousin, facing the blame and whispers. Serena felt a crushing mix of hurt and fury. She knew she couldn't let words knock her down. She had to stand strong, for Lily, and for her own dignity. Serena decided to fight back with facts. She gathered articles, studies, and stories about gender equality, planning to present them at the Vance family reunion and show the whole clan how much promise girls really have. At the same time, she reached beyond the family, looking for allies who understood. The day of the Vance family reunion finally arrived. Serena stepped up to the microphone armed with research and resolve. She laid out her views in plain language, backing every point with numbers and real-life examples that proved girls can match boys stride for stride. Her speech struck a chord. Heads nodded, eyes softened, and conversations sparked across the room. Dolores stayed rigid in her son preference, but Serena no longer flinched at her barbs. The first step toward change had been taken, and Serena vowed to keep walking it, first for Lily, then for every girl discounted and dismissed. The clash had been brutal, yet it only hardened Serena's conviction. Keep pushing, she told herself, and one day Dolores, and everyone like her, would see the worth and the power of girls. After Serena and Dolores squared off, the air inside the Vance house grew taut. Whenever their battle heated up, Marcus slid into silence. He wouldn't side with Serena and risk angering his mother, but he couldn't openly endorse Dolores's prejudice either. The vacuum he left felt to Serena like abandonment. One evening they exploded over Dolores again. Serena tried to explain that she only wanted fairness for Lily and that Dolores's son preference had become unbearable. Marcus answered coldly, "Can't you just let it go? Mom's old. Her mindset isn't going to flip overnight. Let it go." Serena shot back. "Until when? Until I watch Lily grow up belittled in this house. I'm part of the Vance too. I have a voice." Marcus's brows knitted. "Stop being so extreme. I'm asking you to cool down and quit locking horns with her every single day." The words hit like a slap. In his eyes, she would always be the irrational one. Serena drew a slow breath, fighting to stay level. "It's not extremism, Marcus. It's justice. Lily isn't even born yet and your family is already rejecting her. How is that fair?" He hesitated, then sighed. "I get how you feel, but my hands are tied. She's the elder. We owe her respect." Disappointment crested inside Serena. The gap between them was unbridgeable now. She rose, voice icy. "If you can't understand me, we have nothing left to say. I can't stay in this house any longer." She turned and walked out, feeling the marriage crack beneath the weight of that fight. In the days that followed, conversation between them withered. Marcus tried to patch things, but the wound throbbed too deeply. The Vance house no longer felt like the warm home she once craved. At last Serena asked for a divorce. Shock and pain flickered across Marcus's face. He begged her to reconsider, yet trust had flatlined. She told him plainly that she needed a partner who understood and backed her, not someone demanding endless compromise. Their brief marriage ended. Serena left, one hand resting on the gentle swell where Lily grew. The road ahead was long, but she believed that somewhere, somehow, she would build a true home for the two of them. 5 on her own. Serena met setback after setback, yet exhaustion never won. Lily, still sheltered under her ribs, fueled every step. With a friend's help she landed a job. The pay was modest, enough for rent and prenatal vitamins. She learned to balance budgets, to cook one-handed, to picture herself as a single mom. Along the way she met kindred spirits, neighbors, co-workers, women from the Moms-to-Be WhatsApp group who cheered her on. She began showing up at Riverdale potlucks and street fairs, weaving a new, colorful social net. Still, small defeats, an overdue bill, a sleepless night, could send her spiraling. One fluttery kick from Lily, though, and she straightened her shoulders. She would never fail the tiny girl who trusted her completely. Months slipped past. Lily arrived, cheeks plump and eyes bright. She grew into a chatterbox who could read Serena's moods like a favorite storybook. Together they survived fevers, first steps, and the jitters of daycare. Whatever came, they faced it shoulder to shoulder. Gradually Serena released the bitterness she carried toward Marcus. Choices differ. She couldn't force understanding. Time, she told herself, would keep eroding the hurt, and she would keep walking. Lily's hand in hers. Now their life rides an even keel. They share our cozy apartment, small, sun-filled, scented with crayons and cinnamon. Challenges still ring the doorbell, but love answers, and fear no longer rules the threshold. The path stretches on, and Serena is ready. She will guard Lily with every ounce of courage she owns, certain that heart and grit can build a luminous future. Leaving the old Vance world behind didn't crush Serena. It lit a fire under her career. To give Lily stability, she had to fortify herself first. She poured herself into Eastbrook, letting diligence and creative pitches earn nods from managers and peers alike. Promotion followed, then a second, each bump in salary loosening the budget and widening her project portfolio. Certificates, night courses, cross-department shadowing, she stacked every possible skill onto her resume. Season by season her position inside Eastbrook solidified. Respect grew into reliance. The corporate crisis that shook the firm last winter became her proving ground, and she navigated it so deftly that her name now surfaces whenever leadership envisions new ventures. Her professional ascent finances a better life for Lily, yet she refuses to plateau. Success, she reminds herself, is not a finish line, it's a series of higher gates. Challenges still lunge at her, grueling deadlines, last-minute pivots, the occasional condescending client. Each setback only cinches her resolve tighter. Keep moving, she tells the woman in the mirror. Keep moving, and the summit will keep rising to meet you. Serena's career is thriving, and her days are bright with promise. Together, she and Lily savor the hard-won happiness and look ahead for even more. Success at work hasn't just brought Serena financial freedom. It has flooded her with a confidence and magnetism she's never felt before. She understands now that real strength doesn't come from applause or criticism. It comes from a steady, unshakable center. At every big Eastbrook meeting or event, Serena speaks her mind without hesitation, pitching ideas no one else has thought of. Her expertise and original takes earn quiet nods around the table and open doors to bigger projects and wider markets, stretching her professional map a little farther each quarter. She also starts investing in the way she presents herself. Serena learns which cuts flatter her frame, which lipstick shade pulls a look together, how to walk into a room like she already belongs. She shows up at Riverdale mixers, charity brunches, and alumni happy hours, trading stories and contact info with strangers who slowly become allies. Along the way she meets people who color her world, the designer who teaches her about sustainable fabrics, the single dad who shares custody hacks, the retired executive who becomes an informal mentor. Setbacks still arrive, an investor backs out, a launch date slips, but each one tempers her, the way heat tempers steel. As her resume thickens, her calendar diversifies. She blocks out entire weekends for Lily, road trips to the coast, mommy and me pottery classes, lazy picnics in Riverside Park. Their inside jokes multiply. Lily's goodnight hugs last longer. Her daughter's trust wraps around her like a second skin. Serena never forgets that she owes this life to the version of herself who once walked out of Vance with nothing but a suitcase and a refusal to settle. She is grateful to that terrified but determined woman, and just as grateful to the little girl who still crawls into her bed at dawn. The girl she used to be, clingy, uncertain, has been replaced by someone who pays her own mortgage, signs her own permission slips, and builds Lego castles with equal ease. Serena's future is unwritten, but the pen is steady in her hand. Just as everything clicks into place, Marcus reappears. He looks thinner, older, his eyes rimmed red with regret and something that might be hope. He apologizes for every cruel word, every vanished weekend. He says he's done the therapy, read the books, swallowed his pride. He wants back into the tiny universe Serena has built for Lily. Listening, Serena feels her stomach knot around conflicting flavors of nostalgia and anger. The good times were real, but so were the nights she cried so hard she tasted blood. Is forgiveness fair to Lily? Is it fair to herself? Marcus refuses to retreat. He shows up at dance recital rehearsal with coffee for the moms, volunteers to assemble Lily's new bunk bed, leaves post-it notes of encouragement on Serena's bathroom mirror, small, consistent gestures that chip away at her resistance. Slowly, she lets the wall crack. She sees the way he now listens instead of lecturing, the way Lily's face lights up when he walks in. Yet the memory of abandonment still stings like ice on skin. One Thursday evening Serena lays it bare. The fear that history will recycle itself. The nightmares where she's screaming his name and he's already gone. Marcus listens without interrupting, then exhales a shaky breath. Give me time, he says. Not to talk you into trusting me. Time to prove I've changed. She agrees to a probation of sorts. Sunday breakfasts, shared school pickups, joint attendance at Lily's soccer games. Nothing more until every caution flag inside her has been addressed. They will move at the speed of earned trust, not nostalgia. While Serena and Marcus inch toward reconciliation, Dolores circles like a storm front. The thought of her son slipping back into Serena's orbit unhinges her. She begins with whispers to Lily during pickups, tiny poison darts about mommy's new friends, and how sad Daddy looked when he had to eat alone. Then she storms into Eastbrook's open plan office, waving printouts of blurry Instagram photos, demanding to speak to HR about Serena's immoral lifestyle and unfit mothering. Serena refuses to cower. She drafts a concise cease and desist, copies Marcus, and schedules a conference with Lily's teacher so the staff knows to limit Dolores's access. Next, she discovers a battalion of aunts and family friends has been enlisted in a smear campaign, group texts, Riverdale gossip threads, even prayer chain emails that frame Serena as a homewrecker. Enough. Serena hires a lawyer, collects screenshots, and schedules a mediated sit-down. Marcus finally sees the full scope of his mother's spite and sides with Serena without hesitation. Together they present evidence, rebut every fabrication, and make it clear that further harassment will be met with legal action. The gambit exhausts Dolores. Her prayer warriors drift away. Her phone falls silent. At the final meeting she looks smaller, the hate in her eyes tempered by something like embarrassment. Serena doesn't gloat, she simply gathers her documents, takes Lily's hand, and walks out. The life she is guarding is too precious to waste on score settling. Serena and Marcus have just begun to breathe easy when Dolores escalates again, this time weaponizing the media frenzy. She tips off a local influencer known for outrage clicks. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag Riverdale Mommy Wars and hashtag Grandparent Alienation are trending, complete with pixelated photos of Lily's face. Reporters circle the cul-de-sac, microphones sprout on the front lawn. Serena's phone buzzes with anonymous voicemails calling her selfish, heartless, promiscuous. The siege is timed perfectly. That same week, Eastbrook's largest client files a lawsuit over a missed shipment, plunging Marcus into a corporate crisis that threatens layoffs and personal liability. Sleep becomes a luxury. While Marcus juggles lawyers and spreadsheets, Serena drafts press statements, fields interview requests, and still makes Lily's orthodontist appointment. She leans on the moms-to-be WhatsApp group, who rotate playdate duties so Lily can escape the cameras. Together Serena and Marcus craft a two-front strategy. She pens an op-ed about reproductive autonomy and generational bullying. He opens the company books to an independent audit, proving the lawsuit is baseless. Their phones still ding with hate at 2 a.m., but each sunrise finds them standing side by side, caffeine in hand, ready for the next round. By the end of the quarter, the influencer issues a tepid retraction, the client settles for peanuts, and Eastbrook lands an even bigger account thanks to the goodwill Serena's op-ed generated. Dolores's media allies move on to fresher outrage, leaving her alone with her landline and a pile of unopened mail. The war has cost them sleep, weight, and innocence, but it has also welded their partnership shut. Whatever comes next, promotion, recession, another round of Dolores, they will meet it together, shields up, fingers intertwined. The clash had cost Serena dearly, but it had also left her tougher, wiser. She had learned how to prop one another up when everything hurt and how to grow side by side under fire. Hand in hand, Serena believed they could face whatever came next and win. The fight was over, yet the ripples still distorted her days. Dolores's schemes had failed, yet the woman had only sunk lower, quieter, craftier. Meanwhile the media frenzy kept buzzing, draping extra weight around every playground pickup and grocery run. Serena chose to keep her head down, dodging spotlights and squabbles alike. Steady nerves, a calm Vance table, and a plan for whatever Marcus and Eastbrook might fling at them next. Those were the only things that mattered. Then the uninvited walked through the door, Chloe, once Serena's closest friend, now a stranger carrying years of grudges. She spoke of truths that had to be told, and Serena's stomach twisted at the sound. Within days Chloe's Instagram stories filled with riddles, half-sentences that hinted Serena and Marcus were hiding something ugly. Likes and shares snowballed, the media frenzy swallowed them again. Fury and heartbreak wrestled inside Serena as she texted Chloe, begging her to quit the circus. The replies never came, only fresh posts, each one a little more poisonous. Through the storm Serena and Marcus leaned on the same instincts that had carried them before. Total honesty with each other, total refusal to surrender the facts. If they kept trusting, they would, sooner or later, step back into sunlight. Their refusal paid off. Followers tired of the spectacle. Comment threads cooled. Chloe finally posted a clipped apology and vanished, leaving the feed and Serena's life mercifully quieter. Serena would carry the bruises for a while, yet the siege had soldered her faith in Marcus. Whatever potholes waited on the road ahead, they would hit them as a unit. Not two solitary drivers. But beneath the patched-up surface, hairline cracks had formed. Nights when Lily's kicks woke her, Serena stared at the ceiling and wondered whether resurrecting this marriage was bravery or delusion. Could they really outrun yesterday's ghosts and build a tomorrow worth the pain? Marcus felt the chill too. He wrapped her in promises, past is past, I'm still here, We'll repaint every wall of this Vance with new memories. Beautiful words. Yet words had never scrubbed a sink or quieted a 3 a.m. cry. Daily life soon supplied the grit to grind those cracks wider. One of them wanted organic zucchini, the other thought the budget was already shot. Someone forgot to sign the daycare form. Someone snapped over whose turn it was to swab the bathroom floor. Each quarrel lasted minutes, but every slam of a cabinet door etched a fresh sliver from their bond. Just when the fracture lines threatened to spider all the way through, Serena's parents arrived unannounced, suitcases stuffed with home-cooked freezer meals and the kind of love that asks no questions. They told her to believe in herself, in the man she had chosen, in mornings that would feel light again. Their steady faith became Serena's scaffolding. She asked Marcus to sit, to talk, to remember why they had started over in the first place. They scheduled walks through Riverdale's maple-lined paths, traded playlists, laughed at Lily's hiccups inside her bump, small rituals that glued pieces back together. None of it was instant magic. Still, gradually the arguments shortened, the silences softened. When they did raise voices, one of them, sometimes both, now caught the crescendo before it shoved them over the edge. Together they drafted dreams again, a nursery painted the color of sunrise, a savings account labeled Lily's future, a joint vow to protect their tiny, fierce family. The cracks had not vanished, yet Serena finally trusted they could be caulked with patience and daylight. What mattered was waking up each morning willing to try. One moon-washed evening they pushed the coffee table aside and sat knee to knee on the living room couch. They traded apologies the way other couples trade anniversary gifts, carefully chosen, wrapped in awkward tenderness. Past grievances were laid on the carpet between them like photographs they could finally label and file away. That talk drained the last pockets of pus from the wound. They relearned trust the way children learn bicycles. Wobble, fall, scrape a shin, then pedal again, laughing at the wind. Date nights reappeared. Sloppy pizza slices shared on the hood of Marcus's car while Riverdale's streetlights blinked on. When tempers flared they practiced a new ritual, 10 deliberate breaths and one gentle touch before any sentence beginning with "you always." The payoff walked in quietly, a hush of contentment that settled over their apartment like warm candlelight. Serena felt the old excitement, flashes of the first spring they'd spent glued to the same hammock, sprinkle itself onto laundry folding and prenatal appointments. They understood now that marriage wasn't a single fairy tale arc. It was a series of contracts renegotiated every sunrise, each time with slightly steadier hands. They would never thank Dolores or Chloe for the storm, but they could admit the gale had taught them where the roof leaked and how to patch it. On evenings when Lily practiced cartwheels in Serena's belly, they rested synchronized palms against the ripple and promised her a household loud with laughter, soft with mercy, and quick to forgive.